Hello, welcome to Caldwell County Today. I'm Paige Counts, Public Information Officer for Caldwell County. Joining me today is Deborah Murray, Director of our Economic Development Commission. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you.
Before we started, Deborah and I have been chatting, and I told her I am so excited to have her here because she brings more good news. If you watch our county commissioners meeting, she is always the one bringing great news about jobs, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
It is.
Deborah, what's the need in Caldwell County?
Huge. It's huge. We have a great economy. It's strong. It's diverse and nimble and all the things we want it to be. And the thing that we need now more than anything is we need more workers. And so that's what we're here to talk about today.
What types of workers do we need?
We need every kind of worker, not just industry, not just low-level jobs, not just high-level jobs, everything. We are seeing a resurgence in our economy. We've come back quite a bit from the original COVID downturn, and we are now looking at, amazingly, I'll give you an example. There are 6,000 jobs available today, right now, in our region to hire. So when someone says we can't find a job, I don't see that. There are tons of jobs out there. And here's the best part of that story. Because of where we've been and what has happened, employers are doing everything they can to be as competitive as possible. I've never seen a time like this before when employers are looking at what can we do to make sure that we attract the very best people or attract the most people the fastest in order for them to continue to grow. Because last year, as bad a year as COVID gave us, last year was a very good year for Caldwell County in terms of industry and business and growth. Now, some sectors really took it in the teeth, and they're coming back, but we'd like to help with that. And if we can grow some of these other industries and businesses, that will help bring those dollars and people back as well. And of course, you know, no social distancing and getting schools back to normal schedule would help too, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Really and truly, I think the thing that I want to say the most is if you left the workforce for good reason, it's time to start thinking about getting back in it, because you will be surprised at how good it is to be in the driver's seat as a prospective employee compared to a year ago.
And let's talk a little bit about wages in Caldwell County, because this surprised me when you shared this with me. You handed me an ad that you're running, which is beautiful, but wages in Caldwell County, what's the average wage right now? Well,
the average private sector wage, which means no government, no educators, no government, anything like that. That private sector average wage in Caldwell County is $41,157.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, but now think about this. If you look at the median household income in Caldwell County, it's above that, but not very much. And you might say, why? Well, here's why. Private sector average wage report is done based on employers. It's who works here, not who lives here. So one of the reasons for doing this segment today is to say, shouldn't Caldwell County residents be the people making these wages? Shouldn't Caldwell County residents be the first to be able to have the opportunity to take these better paying jobs? And that's the invitation to everyone who's had to sit out because of COVID to come back and to know and understand it's a different market. Totally.
It's totally a different market, and there are a lot of incentives.
Well, there are, and let's go back for a minute before we talk about incentives, and let's talk about what has happened here.
Sure.
Because I don't want anybody to feel beat up. If you are at home and you're seeing this, or you know of someone who's at home, don't beat them up because they had to do that. It's tough in certain wage ranges. You have to balance, how much money am I going to make? And what are the expenses that I incur by taking a job, any job? And so you have to weigh that. And there have been a number of incentives offered in order to help people balance this particular rough time of life. But you also have to take into consideration things, and I'm sure they did. Some people are at home because of safety. They have felt like, for the safety of their family, safety of themselves, that they needed to be at home. I would ask them to now start thinking, if well over half of our population, adult population in the country, have been vaccinated, that is a much safer environment in which to work. And in Caldwell County, we've had employers who've had on-site vaccinations available, and they do that from time to time just to give employees the opportunity to get that handled and without losing work. Some have paid people, continue them on the clock to go and get their vaccinations. So we are raising the bar safety-wise, and you should feel far more comfortable. You of all people know that we're not having these clusters reported any longer in our businesses and industries.
Right, we're seeing COVID numbers low. Right now we're averaging about 14 cases a day.
Compared
to 88 in January. So it has dropped dramatically. I mean, you still need to take precaution, but it's a much safer environment. And our industries have all taken extreme precautions to keep their employees safe. I had the opportunity to talk to many of them, and I will say they have gone above and beyond.
They have. And because a day missed is a day of production or a day of service or revenue lost, and they've worked hard to make sure that they can navigate these rough waters as well. People left the workplace because of child care issues. It's expensive to pay for child care, and so you have to have a good income, one that you can count on in order to pay those kinds of bills. Then there's transportation, just the physical part of that, and then there's commuting, just the gas, and that's a tough thing to talk about today, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So anyways, we won't go there, but there are all those things that you have to weigh, and they're serious. But what balances that out? In today's market, every employer that I know, if you ask them, what are you doing in order to increase the likelihood that you get the talent, that you get the people in? And the first thing that they say is, we've raised wages. Every company is doing something in order, and I don't mean a nickel or a quarter or 50 cents. We're talking $1, $2, $3 increases in their entry-level wages and on up. One company is announcing that they are giving raises to everyone in their company starting, I think, in June. Because, and you might say, well, why in the world would you do that? Because they care about retaining those people. It's a competitive marketplace. The other things that you're missing, and you can only afford to miss for so long, is benefits. Health care coverage, COBRA insurance is incredibly expensive. I would have a very hard time paying for COBRA, and I'm sure some people have said that has to go. So coming back into the workplace allows you the opportunity to get back in on benefits. Companies are looking at that too. They're starting their benefits earlier, some. They are looking at expanded benefits. They're also looking at the environment in which people work. I'm amazed at the things that they're talking about doing, offering different benefits for breaks and for refreshment, and changing the work environment, changing the lighting, changing the hours. You need flexibility if you have child care issues. And so the things that we thought we'd never hear several years ago, they weren't on the table. They're all on the table now. And you know, you can go, and this is the message. This is my message to you. If you elected to opt out, it's time to reconsider this, because whatever it is that's most important to you about work, it could be the wage, it could be the benefits, it could be the hours, it can be the location, it could be whether or not you get a pension. Believe it or not, there's still some companies that have pensions. 401ks, you can look at every single one of those things. If you need a job share, if you need a part-time job, if you need an incentive, you know, to sign on. There are companies paying very, very generous incentives. I don't mean $100. Some are $1,000, some are more than that. These are all things that if you have the time to sit down and weigh every single job, this is the time to do that, because our companies are growing. They have businesses, they have revenues that they need to maintain, but they've got customers whose needs they're trying to meet. And they would be growing faster if they had more workers. And so you have the opportunity to weigh all of this and say, this is the time. This is the time. You're in the driver's seat. You can pick whatever those essential elements are for going back to work, and when you find that right recipe, you take it. Certainly. This is the time to do it, because it won't last forever. Our unemployment situation is odd right now. Most of the people who I'm talking to aren't counted in that unemployed number any longer because they've had to make other arrangements. But they can come back in right now and end up better off than they were when they left. You know, they missed a year's of wages. They missed a year of increases, whatever annual, you know, increases there might have been, promotions. They missed out on that whole social setting of being at work. You know, that whole sense of purpose, besides just being, you know, at home or finding some secondary way of doing it. There's just a lot that COVID has robbed us of. It's time to take some part of this back. And it's time for folks to consider, make the best decision that they can, and come back in, you know, write their own prescription for this one. It's a great time to be doing this.
And as you were talking, I was thinking about, there's some jobs, some companies that maybe we see as more coveted than others.
Yes.
And it may just be your personal opinion, or because you know somebody that works there. Now's the time to look at those places, because they likely have a job opening.
Well, not only that, we do more on-the-job training now than we've ever done before, and companies will tell you they're looking for somebody with a good work history. And if you're one of those people that had a good work history before COVID, you can come right back in and probably start off better. Your expectation is that look for the better job, because there's training out there. Most often it comes you know, as a result of that employer, and they're looking for people to invest in. One of the things we talk about often in today's world is that there is a raw materials shortage. Everything. One fellow told me last week, I could double the size of my business if I had just two things. Number one, more workers. We'd train them, we would hire them, and we'd train them. But number two is raw materials. Think about it like this. If a company has 10 openings, and that's what they need in order to cover their business and grow, if they fill those 10 jobs, they're ensuring the future, the present and the future of that company. And that's why they're out there doing it. These are not jobs that are out there just because we're trying to make up the slack. We're not trying to get back to where we were. Most of these companies are back to where they were. And they're trying to take advantage of all of this demand for their products that has been created and now backlogged. And they'd like to take advantage of it. They need the workers. And so, great time to be looking.
And you've given me some statistics as we sat and talking beforehand. We are the 26th, I'll never get this right, 26th highest
Yes. Private sector,
sector,
average wage. And that means out of 100 counties in North Carolina, once you take all the government jobs out of the picture and just look at private industry, Caldwell County's private sector average wage is $41,157, and that is the 26th highest in the state currently. And we've been on a roll. We've grown by 28% in the last 5 years, very high pace, and those are, again, that's who works here, not who lives here. And that's something for people who are hearing this to think about. Those jobs are out there for you. Why shouldn't they be yours? They don't have to belong to the people who've come here from somewhere else. I'd love for the majority of those, as many as possible, to be held by the people who live here. It's their time.
Well, and I just think about shortened commutes.
Yes.
You're not driving to another county for a job. You're right here at home.
I know people talk about 321. That's the ribbon, the gateway through our county.
Sure.
Everybody travels it, and people here like to complain about the traffic. And of course, I'm from Atlanta, way long. I came here in '04, but Atlanta traffic is world famous, right? I had an hour commute. I love my 15-minute commute, and I live and I work in this county. I think that it's very possible, with our job growth being what it is, that most people can work here. They for any level of job. That's the best part of our wage growth. We've been able to add in a lot of middle and higher level jobs in addition to expanding entry level positions for people.
If someone's looking for a job, where do they start?
They can start a lot of places. If you want to start quietly and just on your own independently, I suggest two things. You can go to Facebook. You can go to Caldwell is Hiring on Facebook, and if you want, you can just scroll through and see what the most recent posted job is and what it is, and scroll down and see all of them. If you would rather not, if you're not a Facebooker and you don't want the distractions of the next post, go to caldwelledc.org. On the upper right-hand corner of our website, you'll see a yellow square rectangle, and click on that. The last 30 days of job postings is there. The first one is the most recent one. And if you want to apply, there's a hyperlink there so that you can go straight through, day or night, and you can make application for any job that has that hyperlink. And you can apply. If you're up in the middle of the night worrying and wondering where's the next job, sit down and do that, and submit an application that way. We have, again, 6,000 jobs in the region, but several thousand in Caldwell County. And there's no reason not to just take your time and see what they are. And you said you looked through.
I have looked through. I occasionally post Caldwell is Hiring on the Caldwell County's Facebook page, and I looked through, and I was amazed because it's every level job, every industry. There's really such a range. I was just amazed of the variety and how easy it was.
Yes.
That was the thing for me. How easy is this? Because you might go to a hiring website. I'm not going to call any names because I don't want to show any favoritism. But you may go to a national hiring website, and you have to scroll through random jobs. And I can tell you from my personal experience, if you type in marketing expert or something like that, you can get some really crazy jobs on that.
You can.
Caldwell is Hiring is not that. It is all jobs right here.
Well, there's also no follow-up. You're not going to be chased on your website or on your email or on your Facebook or whatever. You're not going to be chased by folks who want to say, "Oh, if you looked at this, look at this." If you go to the Caldwell EDC site, you can very leisurely look through all of those. You can look at the job description, you can go to the website of the company, and you can see what they are. And that's something else to consider. You might say, well, okay, I can get the wages and the benefits that I want, and it's close to home, but How do I know I really want to work there? You know, this is your opportunity to look and see who lasted through COVID-19, who has downsized. And when you have your interviews, ask them. Ask these companies how they weathered the storm, so that you know what kind of a future you're looking at. What kind of a company are you going to work for? There's a great, and I encourage you to ask those questions simply because there's great pride to be had in the employers that are here, and they're all looking for really good people. And this is an exciting time to be looking for a job. Now, here's what's even better about that. Yes, companies are offering incentives. You can come in, and once you've been there for 3 months or 6 months, there's a nice extra check that you can get. Think about this. If you're a high school student and you just graduated and you're looking for a summer job, or you're looking for a career, you're going off to college and you want to earn money this summer and maybe the next summer, depending on how well you do. Think about the importance of this. What a great time to establish a relationship with a company, and you can pick because there's a lot of them to choose from. What a great time to start your work career and have this opportunity. And if you decide I'm going to get my education and my training from my employer, you know, I've graduated, and congratulations, big accomplishment. But if you're going to do that, you can get that incentive. You're 18 years old, you can get that $1,000 or whatever it is. That is so incredible. There's never been a time like that.
Never been a time like that. And I think about the relationships you can build if you are going off to college and you do that summer job at one of our local companies, and you come back after you finish your degree and you already have your foot in the door.
You do. Now, you're not going to get that hiring bonus,
right,
because you're only going to be there if you're going off to college in 3 months, right? You're going to be there for 3 or 4 months. But so many companies have said, we want those people because, first of all, you're already here and you already love this place and you have a place to stay, right? And it's preparation for a great future. So why not establish a relationship with a company that you think there might be a long-term future here? And you might try it and say, that's not for me. That's okay. Come back next year and do that. We have people who have gotten their degrees and come back and entered that company because they then have a reputation for being a good worker and have had very fast start careers.
Well, it's a network.
It is.
You may not come back to that company, but you may come back to another company. And companies in this area, they network. They know each other.
They do.
You know that very well.
Well, and experience is something that is hard to get. You know, when you apply for your first job, what do they ask you? What experience do you have? How hard is that to get when you don't have it, right? And so if you use your summer wisely as a young person, and we have a whole crop of people graduating high school and college in the next 30 days, this is a great time. And if those of you who are parents and grandparents and you're hearing this, tell those folks about this, because there is an opportunity here that I promise won't be here in another year or two. It's such a unique time when business is booming and thriving and coming not just back to life, because we've been back to life, but we're going to a new level.
We are going to a new level, and here's full confession. I have looked through the Caldwell's hiring jobs, as I said, but when I look through them, I'm not looking for a job for me. I look through them and I think, oh, that would be a perfect job for fill in the blank, and I pass that information along. I saw this job and I thought of you.
We see that on Facebook a lot. We look to see who shares the jobs that are on there. And I'm certain that there's a mom or a grandma or somebody, a friend, who's saying, look at this one. This is you, you know, with that unique gift. And there are a lot of people who are sitting in a job they just don't care for.
Right.
And this is a great time to get out and see what's out there for you.
Right. If you want to change careers,
this is the time to do it. This is truly the time to do it.
Deborah, you have a lot of notes in front of you, and I want to make sure you've covered everything.
I think so.
Because I could probably sit and talk about this all day, because I'm truly proud of the work that's being done, the industry we're seeing come into Caldwell County, because I grew up here. It's not the county, job-wise, that I grew up in, and I'm so proud of that.
Oh, me too, me too. We talk a lot about what if this had happened? What if this whole COVID thing had happened 8 years earlier, 10 years earlier, even 5 years earlier? It would be different than it has been this year. Caldwell was so much more prepared. No one ever expected or desired this disaster, but our economy was more diversified, and it was certainly durable and sturdy. And this proved it, because we've done well. We have numbers, our sales taxes are high, which no one expected. Our community college has maintained its enrollment, one of only 4 in the state to do that during COVID. We've seen growth in sectors. We're probably, one of the areas we're most proud of is our pharmaceutical sector. As it continues to grow, there's 100 new jobs right there available in Caldwell right now. And if you're saying, yeah, but I am not qualified to do that, I would bet you that you can go apply, and that they would have a place for you to start where you can get that training. And they pay very well. And so do other industries. There are plenty of other industries that are out there that pay as well, some better, believe it or not. And everybody's willing to just bring good people in and give them the opportunity to prove themselves. It's a great opportunity. We always say it's a great day to do business in Caldwell County. I would tell you it's a great day to be looking for a job in Caldwell County.
Go to Caldwell is Hiring. Check it out. Just take some time, scroll through jobs. Don't do it quickly, because you'll miss something.
That's right.
It's something you need to scroll through pretty slowly and read. And if you're like me and you're not really looking for a job, but you scroll through and you're like, oh, this person needs to consider, share it.
Well, and just look at it if for no other reasons. You've said, I didn't know that company was here.
Exactly.
I didn't know that we had something like this. Now, Caldwell is Hiring has jobs from all over the region when people want to post their jobs. And we do post them, because if you live in Caldwell and you see that and it's the job for you, we want to help you. And if that's that thing you're uniquely qualified to do, or just have that unique desire to do, that's great. Go for it. It's perfect. But it's a great education if you want to just scroll down through there and even see what kinds of jobs are available in today's world. They're everything.
And I personally want to say to our industries, thank you, because you have been so nimble, to steal Deborah's word, during COVID.
They have.
To make masks, to just fill the need. You've not only kept our county employed, but you've also filled so many needs. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on your growth. Now our goal is to get workers in place.
That's right.
And if you are a business that has a job you would like to share with Caldwell is Hiring, how can they do that?
Get in touch with me. Go to send me an email, dmurray@caldwelledc.org. And I'd be happy to pass that along. And we post those jobs generally within the hour of when we receive them. And then they'll be there until you post your next one. And we encourage companies to post them individually and post them frequently, because on Facebook what happens is you get pushed down when the next job comes up, and it's all about who's looking at any particular moment. So we take those and we'll put them on there, and we welcome them all.
And Deborah keeps track of your statistics and how much you shared, so you get some valuable information.
Well,
there.
yeah, we'll look at it and say, well, this job posted better than this one. Help you look at it. We'll wonder why. What did you say? What type of job was it? We see the statistics and compare them and provide them to employers so that they can do the things that get them the most visibility.
So, Deborah, thank you for what you're doing. And again, folks, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a better job, a different job, now's the time. Get out there and start applying. Check out Caldwell is Hiring.
That's right. Thank you for this time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for watching Caldwell County Today.